Have you ever worked your entire life for a dream, only to have someone try to take it away because they think you aren't good enough? This is the story of Leo, a young paramedic who saves lives every day. But when he tries to buy a small home in a nice neighborhood, he meets Mrs. Davenport, the powerful president of the Homeowners Association, who decides he doesn't belong. Before we find out what happens between them, we would love to know where you are watching from. Please let us know in the comments so we can bring more stories that resonate with you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next story. Now, let's dive in. The neighborhood of Willow Creek was the kind of place you see in movies. Perfect green lawns, beautiful houses with white fences, and children playing safely in the streets. For Leo, a 28-year-old paramedic, it was more than just a place. It was a dream. For years, he had worked double shifts, sacrificing holidays and weekends. Every time he helped a stranger, every life he saved, he put a little money aside. All for this goal: a small, simple house in Willow Creek. A place where he could finally rest, and maybe get a dog. His real estate agent, a kind woman named Sarah, was thrilled when his offer on a small 2-bedroom house was accepted. It was the smallest house on the block, but to Leo it was a mansion. "This is it, Sarah." "I can't believe it," he said, his voice filled with emotion as they stood on the porch. Sarah smiled warmly. "You deserve it, Leo. All that's left is the final approval from the Homeowners Association, the HOA. It's usually just a formality. But in Willow Creek, the HOA was not just a formality. It was a kingdom, and its queen was a woman named Eleanor Davenport. Mrs. Davenport had lived in Willow Creek for over 40 years. She was a widow with a large fortune, and she believed it was her personal duty to protect the neighborhood's prestige. To her, every new resident had to be perfect. They had to fit her idea of success. The HOA approval meeting was held in a community hall. Leo wore his best shirt and sat nervously next to Sarah. Across the table, Mrs. Davenport looked at his application through her expensive glasses. Her expression was cold. "Mr. Leo Morales," she said, her voice sharp and clear. "I've been reviewing your file." She looked up, not at Leo, but at the other board members. "His income is adequate, but barely. He meets the minimum financial requirement, but only just," Sarah spoke up calmly. "Mrs. Davenport, Leo has one of the most stable jobs there is. He's a paramedic, a first responder. He's a hero in our community." Mrs. Davenport gave a small, unimpressed laugh. "A noble profession, I'm sure, but it's not about that. It's about maintaining the character of our community." She finally looked directly at Leo. "Your work hours are erratic, are they not? You come and go at all hours of the night. There's the potential for ambulance lights and sirens. It's disruptive." Leo was stunned. "Ma'am, I park my personal car at home. The ambulance stays at the station. My neighbors would never be disturbed by my work." She ignored him, continuing as if he hadn't spoken. "We are a community of executives, doctors, and lawyers. We have worked hard to create a quiet, predictable, and exclusive environment. I am concerned that your presence might lower property values." The room was silent. Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. This wasn't about rules. It was about prejudice. She was judging him because he worked with his hands, because he wasn't rich. "With all due respect, Mrs. Davenport," Sarah said, her voice firm but polite, "you cannot deny a person housing based on their profession. That is discrimination." Mrs. Davenport's eyes narrowed. "I am not discriminating. I am protecting our investment." She closed Leo's file with a sharp snap. "I will not approve this application. I recommend we deny it." Leo felt like he had been punched. All his years of hard work, all his dreams, being dismissed by this cold, cruel woman. He left the meeting feeling completely defeated. His dream was over. A few days passed. Leo was heartbroken, but he continued his work, saving strangers and helping people in their worst moments. Meanwhile, Mrs. Davenport sat in her large, empty house. It was immaculate, perfectly clean and silent. She felt proud. She had protected Willow Creek from someone who, in her mind, simply didn't belong. She was alone, but she believed she was right. That evening, as she was preparing a small, solitary dinner, She felt a sudden, sharp pain in her chest. It was like a fire spreading through her body. The pain shot down her left arm. She gasped for air, stumbling towards the phone. With trembling fingers, she managed to dial 911 before collapsing onto the cold marble floor. Her world went black, miles away. The dispatch radio in Leo's ambulance crackled to life. Unit 47. Cardiac arrest reported at 12 Willow Drive. Repeat. 12 Willow Drive. Leo's heart skipped a beat. That was in Willow Creek. He and his partner jumped into action, sirens blaring as they sped towards the neighborhood he was not allowed to live in. When they arrived at the house, they didn't know whose it was. It was just a patient. They burst through the door and saw a woman lying unconscious on the floor. Leo didn't recognize her at first. All he saw was a person who needed his help. He immediately began chest compressions. "No pulse," he shouted to his partner. "Get the defibrillator ready." For several minutes, the silent, perfect house was filled with the sounds of urgent, life-saving work. Leo was focused, his training taking over. He was not thinking about his dream or about the woman who had crushed it. He was thinking only about the human being beneath his hands. "Clear," he yelled as the machine delivered a shock. He watched the monitor. "Nothing." "Again," he commanded. "Clear." He checked for a pulse again. He felt a faint, weak beat. "We have a pulse. It's weak, but it's there." As they stabilized her and prepared to move her to the stretcher, the woman's eyes slowly began to open. They were filled with confusion and fear. And then her eyes focused on the face above her. It was the face of the young man she had called disruptive, the man she said didn't belong, the man who was now saving her life. It was Leo. A week later, Sarah, the real estate agent, received a phone call. The voice on the other end was quiet and weak. "This is Eleanor Davenport." Sarah was surprised. "Mrs. Davenport, I heard what happened. I hope you are recovering well." There was a long pause. "I am," she finally said. "Listen, I need to speak with Mr. Morales. Can you please arrange it?" The next day, Leo, very nervous, met Mrs. Davenport in the hospital's quiet garden. She looked smaller and much older, sitting in a wheelchair. She didn't look at him at first. She just looked at her hands. "They told me what you did," she said softly. "If you had been just 1 minute later, I would not be here." Leo didn't know what to say. "I was just doing my job, ma'am." She finally looked up at him, and for the first time he saw not a queen, but a fragile, lonely old woman. There were tears in her eyes. "Your job," she repeated. "I called your job disruptive. I judged you without knowing anything about you. I judged your character by the size of your bank account." She took a shaky breath. "And your character, it saved my life. I was wrong. I was so terribly wrong." She reached out a trembling hand. "The HOA board is meeting tomorrow. Your application will be approved. Welcome to Willow Creek, Leo. I think we'll be lucky to have you." Leo looked at the woman who had caused him so much pain, and he felt no anger. He only felt forgiveness. He smiled a real warm smile. "Thank you, Mrs. Davenport. I look forward to being your neighbor." So that was the story of Leo and Mrs. Davenport. A powerful reminder that a person's value is not in their job title or their address, but in their character and their kindness. We have a question for you all. What do you think is the best way to deal with prejudice when you see it in your own community? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonates with you, please hit that subscribe button. It's completely free for you, but it helps our channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.